Today's youth need teachers, volunteers, and most of all, well, they need you. I'm Doug Edwards, and I'm going to be talking with real youth mentors and students to give you the knowledge you need to be the best youth worker possible. This is Youth Worker on Fire. Hey, thanks so much for joining us again on Youth Worker on Fire. And this is Doug Edwards, your host. A lot of things are coming up, and we can't tell you about them yet, but I can tell you that if you will pray for us, there's some exciting things in the future that we'll be able to tell you that's happening. A trip I'm going on that we can't talk about yet, but we'll be able to talk about in the near future. Pray for us. Send this episode out to someone that you know needs it once you hear it. And today we're going to be talking about gap, standing in the gap. I titled this one Gap Standing because there's so many people that write things about standing in the gap and, the store and different things like that. And so gap standing is really what we do. We are the ones that stand there for other people. So it's your and my obligation to stand in the gap between students, their families, and our own children and families. I got a text from an adult mom today. Her name is Nancy, who was a former student I knew, and she thanked me for being there when she was in high school. Now, I had sent her last week's episode because not only do I ask you to do that, but if I have certain people that come to my mind, I will send an episode to them, and sometimes I will get a response like, this is what I needed today. She said her mom brought my name up when they were talking about people who were there for her as a teenager. I'm both emotional when I read that and honored. That's why I produced this podcast. It's to let people know the difference or the importance of standing in the gap as long as God gives you strength, like he did the apostles and the first disciples. The first ones sacrificed it all. Jesus tells us to pick up our cross daily and follow him. And if you want to learn more about that and about the apostles and the sacrifices they made and how their lives were given for us, go to Mark Batterson's New York Times bestselling author, Going All In. One decision can change everything. One decision can change everything is the subtitle of his book, Going All In. And it's a very short book, but it tells right in the beginning about the sacrifices that the apostles made and how John was the only one who died of a natural death. But there's a reason behind all of that. If we fight for their spiritual rights long enough and remain strong and courageous, we will reap a harvest. And that's what that note was today. It was a harvest for me to be able to have a student from quite a ways back in our ministry to write me and say, even though I'm an adult now, even though I'm the one ministering to other people and my children and all those things, you were there. That's what you're going to hear. It's not just me. I'm telling you these things not to pat me on the back. I let someone read some things or listen to some of the episodes in the beginning, and he was someone that was very close to me and dear to me in ministry, had been in ministry in the beginning with us. He took it the way that I didn't expect him to take it. He said, well, that's good. That's a nice pat on the back for you. Well, that wasn't what it was all about. I understand I'm going to get some of those attaboys and that sort of thing, but it's to encourage others to go, listen, it's not for nothing. You're not standing in the gap for nothing. You may not see the results now, but down the road, you're going to see the results. And many of those results we'll never see and never hear about until we reach heaven. We're only going to see a little bit of the ripple effect. So today I sat in church. My pastor was one of my middle school students who asked Jesus in his heart during the middle school years. God has used him and his wife, Jamie, to build the church that Colleen and I came to build, thought we were going to be building, because Youth for Christ made our vision his vision, a God-sized world vision. And in 29 years, we could not build a church that we envisioned. Now, we weren't the pastor, but we thought we were part of a team and the body of believers there, that's what they wanted to impact a community so incredibly that they could not help but want to be a part of us. And we did some of that, but not to the magnitude of what we're seeing at this church. We found out we were the seed planters, the people who could water and nourish the seeds into plants and trees that would grow. But in 17 years, Brooks and Jamie built the church they are in, that we envisioned in the most unlikely place, a little town by the name of Umatilla, Florida, to more than 2,000 people that meet every Sunday and growing and still growing from there. And at Christmas, there was over 4,000 people this last Christmas. I expected, there may have been that for Easter too. I don't remember how many for Easter. I expected to see the boy with a few fish and a few loaves of bread with his 4,000, and God would bless and feed everyone. Well, it felt that way anyway. That's not what happened, but it felt that way. Like, oh, this is what 4,000 people look like. And today at church, 61 young couples stood in front of the church as they dedicated their children to the Lord, and our church promised to love and help them. We promised to stay alert and to stand in the gap for them and with them. And that's what I'm talking about. This was a long-term effect that I never expected to see. There are other ministries going on in our state and around the country, but we didn't see it coming. All we knew to do is to keep our heads down and keep moving forward and keep being faithful. So stay faithful to the vision and mission God has planned in advance for you to do. If He planned it, God is obligated to you to finish it. So He will do the finishing. Our final thoughts for this is standing in the gap until the work is done. When you stand in the gap, you are doing what Jesus did, becoming the bridge between God and others. It's never glamorous work. It's often unseen, slow, and filled with sacrifice. But it is holy work. Did you hear that last part? What you're doing is holy work. Ezekiel 22:30, the New International Version says, I looked for someone among them who would build up the wall and stand before me in the gap on behalf of the land so I would not have to destroy it. But I found no one. You and I are the someones that God couldn't find there, but could find here. You and I, youth workers, parents, volunteers, pastors, we are the ones God still looks for today. And when we say yes to that call, we become part of the story God is still writing. Galatians 6:9, it's written this in the New Testament, New International Version, let us not become weary in doing good. Let me repeat that. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. You may not see the full harvest in your lifetime, but the ones who come after you, like your former students, they are the evidence that your standing in the gap mattered. That's legacy. That's God's faithfulness. And that's why we stay in the gap until the work is done. Thank you so much for listening to this. And remember, youthworkeronfire@gmail.com. You can write us, give us your comments. We want to hear what you have to say. You can put out some kind of voice message on there as well. And let us know if there's something that we're needing to say that you would like to hear from us. So don't forget to stand in the gap and to send this to someone that this is resonating with you for, or a group of youth workers and youth pastors, grandparents and parents. You know who you need to send it to. educators who are in the public school but are standing up through Fellowship of Christian Athletes on campus, or Young Life, or Campus Life, and the list goes on and on and on, and the universities and all those things. Don't forget what God has called you to do. Don't forget the others who are standing in the gap on your behalf in those places you cannot be. Adios. See you next time. Hasta luego on Youth Worker on Fire.
You've been listening to the Youth Worker on Fire podcast. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and tell your friends. Also, leave a comment and tell us what you think. Stay tuned for more informative episodes.